UIC. Freedom the people of need. Hell yeah. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in no tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for broke every chain. That when you free up the people, levitate.
Good night, everyone, and welcome to another edition of UIC TV Liberty, UIC Liberty TV. Let's see who we have here with us. I'm betting JMH is here. Of course, JMH, big up yourself. Mr. Patterson is here. He's in class tonight. Sonia Mignot, good evening, or Sonia Minot. I don't know which way is, tell me which way is the proper pronunciation. Good evening, Sonia. Well, glad to have you here. So tonight, we are going to be talking a little bit about the oligarchs. Well, Mr. Patterson, it's actually an interview that Mr. Patterson did with SouFlo. SouFlo is a internet YouTube blogger from South Florida, hence the name SouFlo. He interviewed Mr. Patterson sometime in July. And we're going to be playing that interview for you guys this evening. 4ZI Truth. Good night, Uniters. Good night, 4ZI Truth. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Lion with the Jungle, big up yourself. All Uniters, respect. Nezook, give thanks, Sir Patterson, up. Yvette Thomas, good night. Chat Truth Vibes, big up yourself. Blessings, Mr. Harper. Eunice Brown Knight, good evening, Mr. Patterson and host. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. So we want you to like this and all the other videos that we have on our YouTube channel, and share this video with at least 3 to 5 people that you've never shared UIC with before. And subscribe. If you haven't already been subscribing to the channel, please subscribe. And of course, hit the notification bell so that you'll get the notification every time we go live, because we will be going live on a very important day, which is September 22. So next week, Thursday, we're going to be walking for good governance now as a show of our disgust and disappointment, well, not disappointment, disgust with our present reality and the system that we have in place. We have a system that is built on bad governance. It's built on corruption. It's built on giving a few people a lot of control over the country. And that's part of what we'll be talking about tonight as well. And so we're walking to demand good governance now on next week, Thursday, September 22. And we'll be starting off at the Ward Theatre, downtown Kingston, stopping at Hero Circle along the way and Emancipation Park. And then we head to Halfway Tree, Mandela Park. Excuse me. So everyone, please come out. Those of you that are in Jamaica and are close to Kingston and St. Andrew, please come out and show your support. And also those of you in the diaspora, as I said, we'll be streaming. But also, please talk to your family here in Jamaica, if they're living in the Kingston, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, maybe even St. Thomas area, and kind of get them to come in and join with us, because it's really for the people. It's not about the UIC. It's really about the people of Jamaica and what the people have been undergoing for the last 78 years. So as we're talking about the walk, I have a special video to play. For you guys. But before I do that, I'm just going see what's up, what's happening in the comments. The comments is popping tonight. Well, all nights, usually it's popping. Cordell, big up yourself. Trevor Hines, Donovan Hoylett, or yes, Hoylett. Maurice Williams, Kirk, big up yourself. Natalie Mullings, good night. Mr. Patterson says, help us raise the subscription to 10,000. That's right, we need your help. So share, like. Tell everyone about the channel. Bruce Davis, good evening, Uniters. Welcome to the university. That's right, UIC Jamaica, the University of the UIC Jamaica. I like that. Patricia Burgess says, good evening, Uniters. Yeah, so we are going, I'm going to play for you Marvelin. Hi, Marvelin. That's a wave. Hey. Next walk will be Montego Bay, where the rats eat the cats. Or the rats are as big as cats. I mean, well, I mean, New Kingston is just as bad. I mean, if you see the rats in New Kingston, it's crazy. But anyway, that's not what the topic tonight is about. But yes, so I'm going to play for you guys an amazing video that we have. This is our promotion for the September 22 walk. I'm trying to figure out how we can get this to you guys for you to share it. We've already posted it on our Facebook channel and our Instagram channel. So maybe you can get it through there. But yeah, so take a look at our lovely promo for September 22.
Jamaica are tired of the corrupt system of governance. We're tired of the high crime rate. We're tired of the low wages. We're tired of the high cost of living. We're tired of the bad roads and the toll roads. We're tired of the high electricity bills. We're tired of the water shortages. We're tired of the education system failures. We're tired of the poor healthcare system. We're tired of the lack of affordable housing. We're tired of high youth unemployment. We're tired of the corruption and injustices. We're tired of bad public services, high fees and fines. We're tired of the brain drain of our teachers and our nurses. We're tired of depressed, underpaid police officers. And we're tired of being working poor. We demand good governance now. We demand real republic now. We demand wages pegged to inflation now. We demand real security now. In short, we demand real prosperity now. And clearly, those in charge of our government for the last 78 years have failed to deliver on these things. And it's time we take the government over and fix the country and make it what we want it to be, because clearly, them can't do it.
On September 22, the UIC, alongside the people of Jamaica, will be walking in the streets of Kingston and St. Andrew to say, enough is enough. We want good governance now. All right, guys. So I don't know. Watching it still gives me chills. I still get goosebumps watching that video. I love it. Drop in the comment if you like it. Give me a 10 if it's awesome. Give me a 1 if it's not all that, and anywhere in between. So that's our promo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post it to YouTube after this live, so that you guys will be able to share it with others, share it with everyone, people in the United States, people in Jamaica, people in Canada, everywhere, right? So 10 out of 10, Mr. Patterson, thank you. Post it on YouTube, Mr. Harper. Definitely, we will be posting it on YouTube. Carol Spence says 10, Lady Williams 10, Alan Scott Rail 10, Mitzi Lawrence 10. Awesome. Natalie Mullings, I love the video and I will give it a 10. Okay, awesome. So glad that you guys like it. Hope you guys will be able to share it. Bruce Davis says 1. Is that dyslexia? I mean, is it supposed to be 1-0 instead of 0-1? I'm sure, but let us know what you didn't like about it, Bruce, if that's the case. Paul Williams says 10. Sonia Mignot says, yes, it's powerful. 10, big up. All right, so tonight, guys, as I said, we're going to be talking about the oligarchy. So I'm going to be sharing a video that Mr. Patterson did with SouFlo on SouFlo's YouTube channel a couple months ago. And he's just basically talking about not just the oligarchy that we have in Jamaica, but I don't know if some of you know that we do have an oligarchy in Jamaica. And he will be exposing who that oligarchy is in the interview, but also answering other questions about the UIC. And this is another powerful video that after this live, we will be sharing on YouTube, so you can use that and share with others. You know, when people are asking, who is the UIC? What's the UIC? You know, what is it about? You know, you can share this video with them, especially those in you guys in the diaspora. This is a great video for you guys. So we're going to bring up the interview now and play the interview and come back with any comments or questions. Please play it every 15 minutes while it shows on tonight. All right, Maurice. I guess Maurice loves the video. Thank you, Maurice. All right, so here we go. We're going to watch the interview that Mr. Patterson had with SouFlo.
Bear with me with this new technology, please, because I am no expert. There goes Mr. Patterson right there. Thank you for sticking around to help us to work this thing out. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. And sorry for the tech issue.
So welcome to the platform. There's been a lot of requests to have you here. First of all, I have a whole lot of questions myself, and the people here have a lot of questions as well. We were having a discussion the other day about JLP versus PNP versus UIC as far as to bring this party to prominence, the United Independence Congress to prominence. And I was saying, I'm going to say it in front of you, so it's the same thing I said away from you, is that I don't see any movement going on. So the UIC for me is quiet. And my problem is when I ask a lot of people, you know about the UIC, you know, the people that I ask, they're like, no, what name so? I'm like, that's a third party in Jamaica, a political party. Like we have a third choice, because I'm just finding out not too long ago. And they're like, no, never heard nothing of them. And I said to my audience that in order for more people to be engaged, because that's what it's going to take for you to go all the way, right? So in order for more people to be engaged, I think that there should be more boots on the ground. That was just me looking in from the outside. There should be more boots on the ground action. I mean, we just came out of the whole COVID pandemic lockdown stuff, so there wouldn't have been too much out there movements. But now that we are freed up and moving around, people would like to see more of, you know. So with that, also my question, so these people who are here understand, what is the UIC? What do you stand for? What is your agenda for Jamaica? Wrapped in a nutshell.
I think I want to, first of all, just clarify for you the political situation in Jamaica so that everybody understands. The two major parties are funded by the PSOJ, okay? The elite of the PSOJ fund the other two parties. The same persons own the media in Jamaica. They own the media. So every morning you wake up, you see on your television the JLP and the PNP. And even though the UIC has a full position and puts out a press release, they do not carry it. So every day you do not hear the UIC's position on any issue. You hear the JLP and you hear the PNP. Now, everybody on your program understands the power and importance of communication. And we're not talking about paid advertisement now. We're talking about just the news, carrying the news. Just CVM or TVJ saying, today in the news, there's a crime problem. Here's what the Prime Minister has to say about it. Here's what the opposition leader has to say about it. And they should have then said, here's what the UIC has to say about it. But they stopped there. So the UIC has been a registered political party since December 2019. We have led several marches. The last one you know about, the big one in Houston where I was arrested. Prior to that, we had little or no coverage from the newspapers or the media or the radio and television. They did cover a small incident in Spanish Town, and they covered a small incident in Maypen. Now, when they do this, they normally try to find any negative that they can find to publish. So you have to understand that the media is manipulating you. Now, we're on social media, and we're a very small organization because we're funded entirely by you. We get small donations from Jamaicans here at home and Jamaicans abroad. So just to put it in context, we operate at about $53 a day. That's the operation of the UIC, $53 a day, as opposed to two parties getting over a few weeks, $300 million from the PSOJ organization elites to run. So that's the key. Now let's talk about what the UIC is for. The UIC wants to make Jamaica a non-partisan constitutional republic that will protect the sovereignty, that is the rights and freedoms of all Jamaicans, and provide a safe environment, a clean environment, an orderly environment where every Jamaican can live, earn, and retire with dignity. That's it in a nutshell.
All right, so you just said that both parties, the JLP and the PNP, are funded by the same entity?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, that's a mind blower right there. And I don't think a lot of us are aware of that. And if that is the case, then I am absolutely right then in my thought that this is just two sides to the same coin then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what Jamaica people need to understand.
Wow.
For the last 78 years, from 1944 until now, remember, the two parties colluded together to get rid of Marcus Garvey and the Marcus Garvey Party back in 1938. Okay? The colonial masters sponsored the two colonial parties. They sponsored these two parties. They supported them and get them to become the visible representation of the Jamaican people. But it's fake. They're not representing the Jamaican people. They're first of all representing the colonial masters, and then secondarily, and over time more so, the local elites, which now runs the PSOJ organization. So they come together and meet, and they give equal amount of money normally to both parties. Occasionally, they may give a little more to one or the other if they find that you're really doing what they want to do. So for example, when Michael Manley wasn't doing what they wanted to do, they just shift the money over to the JLP. And if the JLP isn't doing what they want to do, then they shift the money over to the PNP. But generally speaking, they fund both of them equally because the outcome doesn't matter. As long as the leader of the party is committed, the leader and the leadership of the party is committed to doing their will, they continue to support them financially. If you ever elect a leader in any of the two parties, which is not following the script, they quickly cut him off from funding, right? So Jamaicans never get to elect a real government. So what the UIC has done now, we have said the UIC is the People's Party. We don't want the money from UNO. We don't want the money from the PSOJ elites. We want going to take our money entirely from the ordinary men and women who give $1,000 a month Jamaican, or $25 a month US, or $50 a month. And that's how we have been growing from the grassroots. Now, if they would allow us, every time they bring me on TV, you know, they get flooded with people saying, that's what I want, and then they quickly cut it off. They bring me on normally to try to ridicule me because they love when some little idiot come on, you see? They bring on some people from some little independent candidates and they sound fool. They like that kind of stuff. They don't want any intelligent, well-informed, well-intended, well-developed intellectually and financially to be able to come on and give the Jamaican people an alternative. And so for the last several years, particularly since let me tell you something. Again, I'm going to tell you something that most people don't know. In 2017-18, they changed the electoral rules. Prior to 2017-18, there were no rules for political party. Anybody could form party. There's no rules at all, and you could do whatever you want. Now, these two parties did whatever they wanted from 1948 until 2018. In 2018, at the behest of their colonial masters, they brought in new laws which restricted political parties and what they call regulations. But the purpose of the regulations was to eliminate third parties. And they eliminated all third parties in 2018 with these new laws and regulations, which was to cement now these two parties as the permanent fixture of Jamaica's politics. Now, the UIC challenged that. So we, in February of 2019, myself, my wife, and other delegations from the party carried a big Bible of regulatory requirements that we have met. We went around street by street, town by town, and collected over 1,300 signatures and members of the party. And we filled out all the forms that they had, and we got the money that they required, and we applied for party status. They fought us vehemently for 10 months to stop us from becoming a political party. And I had a chance to create a lot of stir publicly until they had to back off and then gave us party status on December 2nd, 2019. Since then, they took a different approach now, give him less media attention, don't carry anything from them. And so the media, generally speaking, not all the times, sometimes they call me for a token thing and to see if they can spin it. Sometimes they call me and even call me a liar on their program. And we have to now show later on evidence that what we're saying is actually true. And so it has been an uphill battle. So while the ordinary person sits out there, when I hear nothing about the UIC, it is orchestrated, it is planned, it is designed. And the goal is to make sure you don't hear. And when you do hear, it must be something negative that you do hear so that you can go back to the normal and just vote PNP or GLP.
You know, that this is quite upsetting. This is quite upsetting to know all this stuff. I did not know all this. I really actually thought that you guys were just being silent. But to hear this now and hear how it's orchestrated and how this is being ran from way back when until now, like we've always been pretty much in peril. So they want, so they want, this is what they want. They just want JLP, PNP.
Yes.
And that's it. Right.
Let me tell you one more piece of information, SouFlo, which you probably don't know. They have a body which is called the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. You can look it up online. This body, okay, is supposed to be responsible for Jamaica's elections and our electoral system. This body is made up entirely of partisan political appointees from the two parties, to the exclusion of all others. The UIC, as a registered, duly registered, legal party in Jamaica, has not one representative on this commission. And they get to see all of our information. We have to submit annual audited accounts. We have to submit all kinds of stuff to make sure we maintain our party status while we cannot get transparency into the other two parties. The UIC is the most transparent party on the planet. We divulge all of our financial details online, in public. Our audited statements go to them, everything, but we are not privy to their meetings. We have no idea what this commission meets and discuss. The public doesn't know, but they are in charge of our electoral system. And so the laws and rules are designed to ensure Jamaica only has two party and two party only, and those two parties are controlled by the PSOJ oligarchy, which give them more than $300 million at election time alone. Outside of that, they're getting millions more. And then these two parties also have taxpayers' money that they're getting and using to exclude we and anybody else from contesting them. So they will always have a significant, very significant advantage. But the UIC is committed to break that advantage because we're going to the people, talking to the people, educating the people, and empowering the people to take back their country.
This is like criminal, what they're doing.
Yes.
This is robbing the people of their rights.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's, I mean, when I look at it, okay, why am I doing this? You might ask the question. I grew up in a PNP home. My mother was a single mother of three. We lived in a one-room house about 12 by 12 feet. Terrible poverty-stricken condition. But my mother was loyal to Michael Manley, a massive supporter, and she campaigned like hell for Portia Simpson Miller and Carlisle Dunkley and those people. So I was around that as a boy growing up. And when I got to 18 years old and it was time to vote, I said to my mother, I can't vote PNP. She said, you're mad? you can't live in a house and not vote PNP.
Yeah,
You're going to vote Labour? I said, no, I can't vote Labour either. She says, well, oh, okay, well, what is going on? I said, because, mommy, these two parties are used to divide the people so they can conquer the people. And I cannot be party to that. And so for years, I spent the next several years trying to figure out, what can I do? I led community organizations. I was down in Seaview Gardens for a time, leading youth clubs and bringing both sides. They have top side and bottom side. You know. Top side are GLP, because when GLP in a power, they put them people in there. Bottom side of my mother, PNP. So when PNP is in power, they put their people. And they divide the people. They're divided by a train line and they fight each other. So while I was living down there at a part of our life, I brought the two sides together through the young people. And so we need to stop this. We need to stop seeing ourselves as GLP and PNP and see ourselves as Jamaicans. So I fought for them to get telephone, fought for them to get a police outpost, fought for them to stop having the water pump system being administered by people who don't know nothing about civil engineering and don't understand anything about public health, and make sure that the pump house for the sewage and for the water is properly managed. PPA Patterson had to slap O.T. Williams because of the demonstration I led on Spanish Town Road back in 1992, okay? 92, 93. And then through this, I keep paying attention and studying politics. I became a CPA afterwards, an engineer at UTech and a CPA. And so my understanding of economics and governance became very enriched by the time I left Canada, because I left here when I was 23 and came back 11 years ago. By the time I went to Canada, I became Director of Financial Reporting and Controls for one of the governments in Canada, where I was overseeing $2 billion Canadian in budget. Now, this experience led me to study carefully Jamaica's governance, Canada governance. I've been to China, I've been to the Netherlands, Germany, France, England, Myanmar, Cuba, and I studied all their systems and then designed for Jamaica a system of governance that would eliminate the tribal partisan divide, unite the people around good governance so that we'll have the environment, the safe, clean, and orderly environment and just environment that we need for the Jamaican people to succeed. And that's why I created the UIC on January 3rd, 2012, and I've been working at it since then. Miserable, difficult, because our people are hard to deal with, and we will stab each other in the back. We're like crabs in a barrel. We'll pull each other down rather than lift each other up. So I have been sacrificing and fighting to bring this to birth, and we finally got our breakthrough properly on December 2nd, 2019, when we became a fully, under their new regulations, which is supposed to improve our system, which got rid of third parties. We fought and became a party, and now we're pushing the boundaries further. We're bringing Jamaicans together all across the world. Sweden, Canada, US, England. We have donors from everywhere now, and it's not much, $25, $50, $10. But when you put that together, we are going to, we might not reach as much, as the other two get, but we just need enough to be able to get all of our foot soldiers into all the communities, working on the ground. We're going to all 228 municipal constituencies. We call them divisions. What a ugly name, divisions. But we're going to get 228 candidates into those divisions, 63 at the MP level, and at the what we call PDs now, we need 7,000 people at the PD level to help us through. So we're working on all of that every single day. And SouFlo, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. It is the most difficult, painful, unrewarding. When you say people will turn against you and do all kinds, it's difficult. But I'm still pushing through, and I thank God for all the people who are still working with me to unite Jamaica and build Jamaica from the bottom up.
I can only imagine how difficult it is, because okay, for instance, on a much smaller level for me, if I find some truth and I try to bring it across, the amount of up under your mother and batty boy and I'm like, it's factual and it's here. And I know that I didn't know it, so somebody else didn't know it. So I'm trying to share it with you guys. It's pure fight and move and go. It's like a lot of our people don't want to be enlightened,
Yes.
you know? And but let's work with those that do and move forward and see what we can actually do. I've never heard any political figure be as clear as you were here. I truly did not understand how these two parties are funded and how they operate basically. And all the stuff that you just laid on us just now is heavy.
Mhm.
It's heavy.
And that is why SouFlo, when you see a person like a Damian Crawford or a Lisa Anna or a Andre, what name? Not Andre, the other one, Andre Orton, it hurts my heart when you see these young people who are bright young people and they decide to join one of the two gangs, because that's what it is. And I remember, I know, Jamaicans, we need to be honest. It's
Right.
two gangs we're talking about. You know, these are mafias. They have brought guns into this country and given to our young men and women. They have deliberately set out to organize garrison communities with dons who they give government contracts and money so that they can own that community and bring out the votes. We're talking about two gangs, two mafias who has been running this country for 78 years with the ignorance of the people, because the people don't understand how destructive these gangs are. And so what the people have been doing, SouFlo, which is right and wrong, they have been pulling away from the political process. So in the last 3 elections, we went from 48% didn't vote to 52% didn't vote to now 63% didn't vote. So the people they're waking up, but they don't know what to wake up to.
Right.
So they don't understand that it's not just to stop voting, because stop voting, simply means less handouts have to be given to win the next election. So I'll tell you something that the PSOJ is doing. Here's a trick that they're doing. They now have laws on the books that they're waiting for the opportune time to implement, where they will now say the political parties will be funded by the taxpayers' money. And the way they're going to do that is based on the percent of votes that you got. But you all know who is going to get the most votes. The two parties in the normal working of, if the media blocks out the UIC, right? The media blocks out the UIC, the ECJ is controlled by political representatives from the two parties, and the system is stocked against third parties. In the next election, they will get at least 98% of the vote. Then they will evoke the law that says now each party can get money from the taxes based on the percentage of votes that they get. They will then get 98% of that money available, which gives them a locked-in monopoly bigger than the monopoly they already have. Watch me now. Look what's going on. They already have a monopoly in the minds of the people by controlling the 37%, okay? The 37% who voted for them, their minds are locked into that system. They believe in that system. The 63 no longer believe. They're not voting, so they're done with it. So they're happy that they only have to worry about 37%. No, worse than this now, they don't have to know that the PSOJ don't have to fork out any more money anymore in the new system, because now they will get to thief our taxpayers' money legally to now fund their campaign and create a perpetual monopoly where no third party will ever be able to break in, and they will have a lock on our economy. Why do they want a lock on our economy? Because the economic model that they're following is a master-slave model where a few people gets to enrich themselves at the expense of the majority, where a few people get to borrow money in our name, use that money carelessly, recklessly, or steal some of it, and then shift the burden to us to pay it back. And how do we pay it back? Not just by money. We pay it back with bad roads. We pay it back with healthcare being poor. We pay it back with high crime because young people can't find work. System that graduates 70% without the skills and competencies to be effective citizens. So they have a plan, and they're working this plan which leads to the detriment of Jamaicans. And finally, we, the mass of Jamaicans, are going to become tenants in our own country when everything is owned by China, India, America, anybody else but we. We can't buy a house, we can't buy land, we can't access our beach, we can't, nothing. We're just going to be here to be the house slaves for whoever else they sell the country to. And by God, we need to stop this. We need to act now, we need to act fast, we need to coalesce around a movement which is for the people and make sure we break this gridlock of these two parties controlling our lives and giving the Jamaican people an opportunity for real growth.
Wow. Wow. So they're planning our demise then?
Yes. They're selling us out completely. When they're finished, who own our, they would have dig out all of the backside, right? And destroy our topsoil, destroy our geography, destroy our water table. Yeah, so we no longer become a rich country in water, which we are. No, we shouldn't have a water problem because we have all we need. They're going to destroy our flora and fauna, destroy our environment. They're going to sell out the best of our country. So all the beaches that are nice will be only for white-skinned people for the most part, and we only go on it to serve food and do entertainment if we're out. They're going to make sure that all the big companies, if you notice, since the 1990s, we have lost about 40,000 companies, local Jamaican companies, through the FinSac, when PJ Patterson and Omar Davis destroyed the economy with high interest rate while fooling us about they're leaving the IMF, when what they were doing was leaving the IMF to sell us out to multinational borrowers and the local banking sector, right? So the local banking oligarchs, what they did, they now got the power to, instead of lending money to the small man, the small business and medium business, they lend it to government instead, starve the small man so that they can squeeze him out and now make only the big insurance companies, the big manufacturing companies, and get rid of all the small people. So gradually, the goal in Jamaica is to make sure that gradually we have less and less and less small business and medium enterprises, only people living on the margins, right? And then in the end, we're going to have a few people now, the ones who have been funding these parties, they will control everything. And we black people will be their slaves again.
Wow. I keep saying this is heavy. Somebody in the comment section said then SouFlo didn't know all this. I had an idea, but not this intricately.
Yeah, man, it's wicked. They are wicked. And so, as I was saying before, I'm shocked when I see, take Andre Orton. Lovely. You go and join the PNP. Oh, you can do that. As a man who should have looked at the history, you're young, I know you're young, but you're looking at the history of Jamaica. You should have seen through the history of Jamaica what is going on. You should have seen what is going on and know that you can't put yourself into this. Damien Crawford should have stepped out a long time out of the PNP and tell the people the truth. When him see, him know where go on, him see it clearly because he's there and he has seen. Lisa Anna should have stepped out a long time. She has been in there for 15 years. That's enough time for you to know what's going on. Andrew Holness, if he meant Jamaica any good, he has been in there now for more than 25 years. He left straight out of university to work with Siaga for a year and then get into a constituency. How come? Him now have no experience in a real life then to deal with real life issues with real life people and so, get up in the morning and can't find money to take the kids to school because he has always been privileged, always been connected. The moment he got connected with the party, he was placed in a special cocoon, which led to him. If you notice, when Bruce Golden was leaving, he handpicked him and said, this is the man to carry forward. After Siaga had trained him and said, this is the person, and he's going to carry forward an agenda. Why do you think he's a QC? You think him interested in Jamaica becoming no real republic? If Jamaica becomes a republic under the PNP or GLP, it will be nothing more than a new label on an old piece of broke down car, which has gone nowhere for the Jamaican people. Their goal is to change the label, to fool us, but the system will remain the same. The same corrupt system that allowed them to rob the Jamaican people at will. They'll no longer call it a governor general, they'll call it a president. But it will be the same system. Jamaica cannot afford to be a fake republic like Barbados or Guyana or even the US for that matter. We need to be a real republic, and a real republic is one that protects the individual sovereignty of our people. So nobody can take away your right, your body, your right to freedom of speech, your right to freedom of movement, your right to freedom of association, and your right to freedom of choice. Nobody should have that power over anybody in this country, and we have to fight to preserve our freedom and get our true freedom. Because we don't have full freedom. We have some of it. I know they want to take away the little bit we earn through Nani and Marcus Garvey and Paul Bogle. We now need to fight to get full liberty, full freedom, and take back our country and make Jamaica the Singapore of the world, because Singapore was smart enough to go against that kind of system. Not fully, because they haven't gone all the way. The UIC going to take Jamaica all the way, and we're going to eclipse Singapore as becoming a first-class country in the world.
All right. Rash Jada is asking Mr. Patterson, how can the public help? That was going to be my question as well, Rash Jada. Thank you, sister. How can the public help to bring about the change?
Excellent. Number one, go on the UIC website, uicjamaica.com, and subscribe. That's number one. So you're going to get the messages coming to you. Number two, tell everybody you know about the UIC. So use your mouth to overcome the media. Word of mouth, spread it, tell everybody. Number three, share all of our content, whether it's from our Facebook page, UIC Jamaica, our TV, UIC Liberty TV, Instagram, WhatsApp, sorry, not WhatsApp, Twitter, anything. Get involved, volunteer, go on our page and say, I want to volunteer to help with X, Y, or Z. And number three, very, very important, donate, donate, donate. Go on there, and most people are signing up to give $25 a month, because what we're trying to do, we want to raise 1,000 person giving $25 a month. That gives us 25,000 US, which will allow all of our candidates to be able to effectively blanket the country. But it's a small number still, you know, but it's big enough. We've done the calculation. If we have 1,000 donors giving $25 a month, no, you might not be able to give 25. You can give 5. You can give 10. Whatever. Just give something. Right. Give whatever you can and tell everybody you know. If they say, I don't know about the UIC, well, now you know about it. Me, I tell you. And here is the link. Here is the link to sign up on the website. Become a member and participate. Donate. Come to our meetings and vote. You can vote for president. You can vote for vice president. We have an annual general meeting. It's called AMC, Annual Members Congress, every year. And we have monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly general public meetings where we invite everybody to come in, and we have members meetings. So please get involved. Don't just sit on the sideline and watch and hope. You know, some people, for the last years, they were waiting to see what the UIC do. What are you waiting for? It's your country, and this UIC is your party. It is the only political party that was formed by somebody that didn't come from one of the other two parties. I have no affiliation with the PNP, no affiliation with the GLP, never been a member, never been a supporter, never been a donor, and I have never voted for any of them. I am voting for Jamaica, and that's why we have the UIC. Notice the symbol on the UIC? It's the handshake in the form of the country. We're going to reunite the country. We're going to get rid of the division, unify the people, uplift their minds, get the people to think the way Marcus Garvey want them to think, and open understanding of history and economics and money, so we can see what them are tricked with. For example, the CBDC that they're bringing on now, the central bank digital currency, it is the last egg of the trick. When they get all the way upon that CBDC, your rights done. Because here what they're going to do. If you don't do what they tell you to do, for example, they give up your bodily autonomy, the next time they want to inject you, they'll just turn off your access to money. So you'll no longer have access to your money. So be careful about this so-called digital currency. Be careful about this NIDS cards. Remember, the court struck down the NIDS. And then what they do, they tell us that, okay, it's now going to be voluntary. Lie them and tell. What they're going to do, say it's voluntary, but then when you go to the bank when you say you can't get a bank account because you have a NIDS card. When you go to do business with the government offices, they're going to make you suffer if you don't have a NIDS card. It will take longer for you. They must go over there, so wait, and frustrate you. And when you go for a job, the big businesses, because they're killing off the small businesses, they're going to say, oh, you need to have a NIDS card before we can put you on the payroll. So this government, this prime minister, is the most dangerous that Jamaica has ever had. He is committed to making Jamaica a totalitarian state through the back door, a police state through the back door. You notice his entire plan for crime is always states of emergencies. Who does that impact? The poor people them. The people them who they make to suffer and turn them into vagabonds. They then go down there and terrorize those people. When the real problem is at the top. It is those who are thief for money, those who are cover for big criminals, those who are allow the guns and ammunition into the country, and them we need to stop. If we cut them off from the top, cut off their head, the people at the bottom will not be able to continue to be criminals that turning them into. So it's time for us to screw our heads on and stop allowing them to screw us.
You know, somebody said to me, he's a young youth, but he's well educated in the political aspects of things. As I am not, because he's been listening to you for a while, and he has been working with or alongside you for a while. And he said, "SouFlo, may I tell you something right now, Mr. Patterson, Jamaica last hope, because what is coming after, if we don't gear up and get ready and get on board this UIC thing, and this is why I started getting so interested, you know, but now to hear all this, I feel guilty that I didn't even know all this. Like, this is a train wreck that we're just sitting by waiting for the train to, like, the big explosion and the big, so we have to get on board. We have to get on board. You won me over this morning, Mr. Patterson. I wasn't sure. I absolutely was not sure. You definitely won me over this morning, because a lot of things that you said to me, I've been saying myself, just from what I've picked up from the outside looking in. I've been saying now on YouTube for 7 years. But the way you went in depth solidified all that I thought was going on, plus more. Yeah. And this is like a state of emergency for us.
Yes, it is. We're in the red zone. We're in danger. I mean, this is the first prime minister that is born after independence. But watch carefully. He has been thoroughly trained by one of the worst prime ministers we've ever had. You understand? And then if you notice what happened with Bruce Golding, in the 1990s, Bruce Golding came out and tried to tell us some of what I'm telling you now. He tried. He was beginning to try to say it. But then he was quickly slapped. And the same people who had boosted him to leave the JLP and go to the NDM, and the same people who sent some money NDM way, they only did it because they were tired now of an unelectable leader. Siaga was now unelectable because the people of Jamaica had settled in their hearts and mind that this man, in their opinion, rightly or wrongly, in their opinion, they had settled that this man was a demon based on the kind of things that he engaged in. And him alone, and not to be fair to him, the other side was engaged to. But we all know that the CIA and the USA worked with him on his side and empowered them with guns and all kind of nefarious activities. On the other side, we know that the Russians, through the Cubans and others, worked with the other side. And they got us, SouFlo, to kill each other. They got us to for what we kill each other for. They got us to now go into the street and run down each other and shoot and to say, vote green or vote. What kind of foolish is that? Now, I want you to notice something. The colonial masters, any country they go to, look what they did in India, look what they did in Ghana. Any country they go to, what they do, they sow seeds of division, either religious or political, and they make sure to entrench that before they leave. Okay? So when they left Jamaica, they made sure before they left, they tested it. In 1944, they gave us universal adult suffrage, which is the right to vote. But they were smart. It's not about the right to vote. It's the right to fight each other. And so what did they do? Our attention from them, because the people, you know, from the 1930s and before, 1940 and before, the people are focused on the truth. The colonial masters were exploiting us and extracting our wealth and keeping the majority of us in poverty. That's what they were doing. But we the people kept fighting against that over and over. Every time they trick us, we'll fight again. And so what they did in 1944 was to trick us to say, no man, stop, look at we, fight each other. So they built these two parties now as a dichotomy. They couldn't follow Marcus Garvey party because he was talking about unity. He was talking about the black man coming together, the black man getting into industry, the black man elevating his mind, the black man building a strong family. No, they couldn't afford that kind of teaching in Jamaica. The two parties now say, oh, we will fight each other for scarce benefits and spoils of tribal politics. P.J. Patterson said that and said it well. So they guided us now away from fighting for unity, away from fighting for freedom, away from fighting for good governance, so we can properly govern ourselves from the family straight through to society. And now we're going to fight to get access to our tax dollars to rip ourselves apart. So by the time Siaga, who was a part of that planning, Siaga was there from the 1940s. Don't forget this, from the 1950s. Rather, he was there, and he was an instrumental part of the 1962 Constitution that we have. And that Constitution tells you clearly the mindset of our leaders then. Read it carefully. That Constitution says the Jamaican people are not worthy of being sovereign citizens. The only sovereign is the Queen of England, and we, her loyal subjects, must serve and honor her because we black people cannot run ourselves. Bustamante did not believe in black people, and Norman Manley did not believe in black people. They believed in the crown, they believed in England, and they think the best route for Jamaica is for us to emulate and worship England. And that's why Andrew brought those white people here the other day and had our children pushing hands through fence to touch them, because he wants to continue the psychology where we think that we're less than and subservient to, so that we will vote against republic. We will vote against being free. We will vote against being sovereign. That's what Andrew wants. So they're playing with us, toying with us, now talking about republic to take away that talking point from the UIC because they know we're pushing it. They want the people now to become committed to voting once more in a referendum to say, we want to stay with the Queen. Tell you what, we don't need a referendum. Oh, the only referendum we need is the one to say which new constitution we want to put in place. This is not a referendum on the Queen. We do not want the Queen. The UIC will bring in a constitution that says we're going to be a non-partisan constitutional republic where we sit around the table in a circle instead of on two sides. We sit by alphabetical listing where our MPs are not plants, but rather people from their communities representing their communities, where it's not partisan because the big money can't fund it. Every candidate get the same access to radio, TV, internet, town hall meeting and debates. We have a new system, an African system, a system that reflects the need for us to be unified if we're going to survive in a world that's becoming harsher and more dangerous as we go. We must build a new Jamaica, a Jamaica where all Jamaicans are given the power and the capacity to lead and to grow and to be the best that they can possibly be.
You know, I see somebody saying, man, you're cut out for this, and I'm on board. I see somebody saying something like, but they always do this. Oh, everybody have the answer until them get in there, or they get elected, or them get the position they wanted, then nothing don't change. So there's a set of people out there who they're hearing what you're saying. I guess those are the people you're gonna have to convince more than over time, but and win them over. You know, kind of like winning over hearts and minds. But some of them are convinced that it's because we've been getting the same old for so long from all we thought was there, that they're thinking, hey, this is probably just the same thing again.
Nobody has ever told them this. So anybody with a sense, with a brain, can look and say, hold on a second. We have never heard Andrew Olnett or Bruce Golden or Mark Golden or Peter Phillips come and say to the people, look at this and go on. They can't say that because they say that they're going to destroy their own system. Right. They are there to keep the system in place. Here's the truth. We have three options before us today. Option number one, vote PNP and JLP and get more of the same, because they have 78 years of history to look at. You know where they're going to take them. The dollar going to decline, the crime going to increase, the poverty going to increase, the brain drain going to continue, and the pain and suffering in our hospitals and schools and in our communities will continue. So vote PNP or JLP, that's where you get more of the same. Option number two is to do what 63% are doing. Stay away from the polls. Don't go and vote. Option number two give you the same result as option number one. You still end up with what you have already. Option number three, try something new. Try the UIC. Give us a chance. What you have to lose? You already on the other two. They already fail you. Give us a chance to prove to you that you're right, that we're not going to do any different. If we don't do any different, what's the difference? If what we are saying is just mouth talk and we're not going to make the difference, vote for them and prove it. Show that if you vote for us, we're just as bad as them. Because if you do that now, you will have proof. The only proof you have now is that the other two have gotten 78 years. Listen, the JLP won the first election in 1944. They had two terms. Two terms they had. And in 10 years, they could not convince the people to stick with them. So the people voted PNP. The PNP now had two terms and they could not convince the people. And what they've done is to build a dichotomy that says, I want to wait all the time and I feel with time now. You ever hear that? They say, I feel with time now. With time now. And so all they're doing is a seesaw. And behind closed door, they're happy, them a pump fist, them a drink champagne, you are suffer. You understand? Them have security guard, you not have none. Them have high fence, you not have none. Them have manicure lawn, you not have none. For them picnic go foreign to school, you can't do that. Them go foreign for hospital, you can't do that. So while you are running to kill each other, them a live and enjoy life big. And that's why the young people them join. Because all the ones to see who join them, them are over a piece of the pie too. They want to get it. And if I wanted that, me, Joseph Patterson, I come back here in 2011. I'm a CPA. I have land. I have house. I have my own personal asset that I have built. The easiest thing for me to do is to have joined one of the two of them and expand that and live a big life and tell you foolishness. But I have decided to spend my last 10 years denying my family, denying my wife, denying my children, depleting my bank account to give Jamaica another opportunity. If you can look on that and say I'm more the same, something wrong with your head. Seriously. If you look at that and say, oh, I'm more the same, more of the same would be I join the JLP or PNP. Right. Come tell you nice things and hope that one day I become Prime Minister through that system. I don't want to be Prime Minister. What I want is for Jamaica to be a free country, a country that protects the rights of its citizens, a country where every boy and girl, no matter how poor they were born, will have an equal opportunity to succeed right here in Jamaica. Instead, what we have is economic refugee. The brightest among us have a runway to somewhere else to enjoy a basic standard of living. And sometimes it doesn't work out, you know. But the truth is, our country run with the best people and create a concentration of the alternative. We now need to change that mindset. All of you who are abroad, join me. I came back from Canada in 2011. I came back from Canada at 40 years old. I didn't have to do that. I come back and I set up shop here. And guess where I live? I live down Bogue, St. Elizabeth, among the poor people. I built my big house, if you will, among the poor people. I live and drive and work with the poor people. And I do farming in my country. And I do accounting in my country, and I help international organizations, but I'm here in Jamaica, helping to build a better Jamaica. And if all of we come together, you don't have to come home right away. Just join hands with me, and we can rescue our country.
Yeah, you fling stone and lick me just now.
Sorry.
Yeah, you did because there's a lot of people that have said, so if you care that much about your country, then why don't you go home and position yourself to be of benefit to them? You have done exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, how many people come back at 40? How many Jamaicans come back to Jamaica at 40 years old?
I mean, you are in the fight though. You not only just came back and like, I'm a returning resident, I can just relax over here so and just enjoy some spoils, and you actually came back and you are in it for change, real change, fundamental change. Change that for generations.
I didn't come back here. Slow flow. I didn't come back here and join the elite. For example, I don't go to their parties. I'm not a part of their circle because I believe it's hypocrisy. They're being hypocritical. You understand? So I have kept myself with the poor, with the ordinary Jamaicans, and work with them And remember that they stab you in the back, you know. I won't leave my time. I won't even stop to get in the back. I won't leave my stop. But I am still working at it because I know that they're doing it out of ignorance. They do.
Right.
It's like Jesus Christ saying they know not what they do. Them honestly don't realize, some of them, that they're actually working against themselves. I have people right now who have been within the UIC with me who are now working day and night to see to my disruption. They're trying very hard to get rid of me. And it's like, it's amazing because they have not, they could not, and they still cannot do what I have done. They have not built anything, but they're committed to tearing it down.
That always kills me. And I always see that, and I always get that. Too, on a smaller level than you, but I can truly relate. You know, sometimes we take up some donations and, you know, the audience give a little money here, and I said, if they give me $50, I'll match it with 50. Sometimes I don't have the 50 to match, so I send the 150 I get from them, or the 100, or however many. And then there are our own people who will say, you know, say, I thief him, the money for buying wife and pick them things. And but there are Jamaican people who can call this name and say SouFloTV. I got a letter yesterday from a young lady that lives in Spanish Town, and I'm telling you, and she's so thankful, and but these people who are trying to like defame me, they're not willing to stand in gap. They're not willing to be of any benefit, any help to the people who actually really need help and change. You know what I'm saying? So I understand on a smaller level. Yes, go ahead.
I want to tell you a joke. On September 22nd, when we did the march in Kingston, I was late for the march. I should have gotten there for 9 o'clock, but I went straight into downtown instead of taking a little bypass, which meant I was stuck in traffic. So I was there trying to get to Ward Theatre, coming down. Can't get there. I had to stop the car with my wife in it and call somebody and say, stay with her for me. And we run around to Ward Theatre where some people already gathered and the police were there. When I got there, some of the people from my own team, from the inner circle, were there. And the police is asking who is in charge, and them a hide. Them a hide. I walked up and tell the police, I'm in charge. I'm responsible for this. And after all went down, and I was eventually arrested, stripped in an almost a public area in the police, thrown in the dungeons with other criminals or people that they claim are criminals in very dirty, rat-infested, roach-infested inside there. And we'll come out and doing what we're doing. Some of those same people who would not stand up for the people, who would not put themselves forward and say, you know what they did? They left my Muslim brothers to lead the charge. My Muslim brothers who weren't fully au fait with what they're not a part of the inner circle of the UIC, so they weren't fully au fait. My Muslim brothers were the one talking with the press and explaining what is going on. And people from my core team, my leadership team, that should have stood up and take charge because the boss late, you understand? Right. Instead, they simply were hiding. I saw them later on in the cameras and in the videos, some of them in different spots. I said, what kind of thing this? Or what kind of thing? What do I do here? And of course, I mustn't talk to them. I mustn't ask them to give an account for how they manage their affairs. And every time they did this, every time that we did a project and they failed to perform, and I asked them to give an account because they want to just brush aside, I said, no, I don't say deal with anything. When you do a project, you first of all have objectives, right? Set all the objectives for the project. You identify people who are going to be responsible for various tasks. You put them in this, and you identify a budget and put where the funding is coming from to do it. And then after you do the project, you go back now and review all of this. Did we make the right decisions? How did each of the persons perform in their respective areas? Were the objectives met? How did we do relative to the budget? Now, that's my approach. And that means accountability. And everybody has to give account. And what I found out with my people, them don't want to be held accountable. They love talk about accountability, you know, but them don't want to be held accountable. And when them fail, you must brush it under the carpet. And when you fail, they want to call it. Even when you're not failing them, For example, we have a treasurer who has gone on public, a treasurer who knows that the only reason we're using a personal bank account all these years is because the commercial banks, that's another side to it, slow flow, the commercial banks have also blocked us from getting a commercial bank account in Jamaica. They have the two parties have a commercial account, you know, the two parties have bank accounts, and the commercial banks blocked us. All of them said, no, we won't give you an account, we won't give you a bank account. And so we have been using my wife's personal account, which is 100% dedicated to the organization. No commingling of funds. Okay, there's no it is very transparent. The full report is given every month to the treasury team, to the finance committee every month. You'll hear the finance committee. The finance committee is made up of people from the diaspora and local Jamaicans. So we have one person from Canada, two persons from the US, and two persons from Jamaica on the finance committee. So, and every single month, the bank account has to be reconciled. All amounts has to be accounted for. And then we do an audit at the end of the year. The last audit was just done and was submitted to the ECJ. No, if they could find anything, they would have been dumped away already. So we have filed all of our requirements with the ECJ, an independent audit done by a qualified auditor who has his own license to protect and everything. And these people, the treasurer, the former treasurer, left and went in public and insinuated. He knows what it means. If tell them I use personal bank account. No, when you say that, you know that you're going to be misleading people because you're not telling them the truth. Yeah. Go ahead.
Wow. I had to come in right there because you just said that they already blocked y'all from having it. So you had to go be improvised and go another route, right?
Yes.
And so you're using the wife's personal bank account. However, everything is transparent and it's delivered to the treasurer on a monthly basis for all to see, right? Absolutely. And now they're using that as a strategy to say, see that them I use personal bank accounts, so them probably
exactly. So they know how the human mind works. You see, they use their skills and talent enough for evil instead of using. The guy is a CPA himself. All right, Howard McDonald is a CPA. So he knows the whole thing, right? Now, he knows that by dropping that kind of word in the public, you're going to taint people's mind by saying, them I use personal bank account. Who is them? He was treasurer all this time, and not once did he bring that to the board as an item and say, why are we using a personal bank account? Let's change it. Because he knew why. So there's no evidence in our minutes, and we keep accurate minutes. There's no evidence in our minutes that says the treasurer, upon becoming treasurer, brought a motion to the floor of the NEC to say, we're using Mr. Patterson and Mrs. Patterson's personal bank account, and that is a problem. Now, prior to that, including another person, Paulette Mackenzie Williams, who is also, she was treasurer before. She was VP of Finance with responsibility for treasury. She also, from the very beginning, knew, because I gave her the task to open an account, and she couldn't open an account. All the treasurers up until now, we have had about 3 or 4 treasurers over the time to now. None of them have been able to open an account. I have helped with the first 3, my personal self, going and sit on a CIBC or sit on a NCB, fill out all the papers, go to meetings, and they stretch it out for months, or 3 months before they give you an answer. And then finally, they don't give you the account. Now, I've been through that. Now, every single year when we have our meeting, we meet once a week, to be honest, is impossible, but we meet regularly. At most of our meetings, I ask them to please change the situation because I know that one day this is going to come up. And can you believe the same people I have said that to, they now are in the public trying to discredit me, knowing that I'm a CPA and that my credibility is very important. You know what they said? Me too clean. They can't find nothing for me. Me too clean. They said, because I'm so clean, that is a problem. So what they're trying to do is to create a narrative to dirty up my character so that the Jamaican people will not have somebody that they think is clean that can truly push forward the reforms that we need. When I'm very clean, and they can search as much as they want, they'll never find anything in my closet. There's no skeletons in my closet. I have been on board. I sat at the last board I sat on, SouFlo, in Europe. Some 13, 14 people on this board, drawn from different countries. The budget that I've overseen, $146 billion. You follow me? 146 billion. I was the chairman for the board, elected twice, re-elected. Okay, 146 billion Jamaican dollars equivalent, which is at the time about 1 billion euros. Okay, this board were responsible for funding microfinancing across the world. Some 3,000, 4,000 members contributing for us to help small and micro businesses with hydro, with micro businesses, with alternative energy and all that kind of stuff, you know, housing, water, sanitation. And I'm the only Jamaican to ever, the only person from the Caribbean to ever chair such a board, for example. And I'm not boasting, I'm just trying to put it in context for you.
Right, it's important that you do that.
Yeah, I've been a director of finance for the government in Canada for one of the territories. Canada has provinces and territories. I'm director of finance for financial reporting and controls for one of the territories. During that tenure, I was responsible for $2 billion Canadian. $2 billion was the budget I'm operating with. I was the VP of Finance and Administration for a school board in Toronto. You understand? So I was overseeing all of the finance and administration. You go back to all of those and check, not 1 inch, not 1 dot, not one microscopic element of me. No, look at the UIC. We're talking about $50 over 1 year. 3 million. That's 53 US dollars a day. You're now accusing what me I gonna do for try thief from $3 million over 1 year. You understand? So this is the kind of thing they do. They did this to Marcus Garvey, and they want to do it again to me in order to destroy the UIC and lock the Jamaican people into these two parties.
Character assassination is a part of the game.
Yes.
Yeah. I see people have a lot of questions. This morning though, I think you've given us more than enough. I want, because some people are acting as if, let me pull myself back. First of all, I want to say this to the audience, right? Thank you guys for tuning in. But listen, I see some crazy comments in the comment section that I was really trying not to pay attention to get distracted by. But you all must understand that there are agents everywhere, okay? So for instance, if someone is against Mr. Patterson and his UIC agenda, they will make sure that they tune in to SouFloTV right now under whatever name they come under, and they will do their little disruption there in the comment section and provocations there as well. However, do not be distracted by all that. This was solely done this morning on request of, and some of the subscribers are saying, SouFlo, you should have closed the comment section off to members only. I have paid members on here. Those paid members are very, because they respect the platform, they're respected enough to contribute to it. So when they come into the platform, they don't go off on any disrespect or any kind of mischief, so to speak. But it was left open because I asked Wifey to set it up for me. I didn't understand how to set it up, but it's okay. Don't be distracted by all that side chatter. Focus, okay? To you, Mr. Patterson, thank you. What I want the audience to do now, though, is to, someone asks, how can we, the public, be of help? And he said it before, and take us out by saying it again. And we're going to end it like this. Say to the audience again how we can move forward being of help to this movement.
So first and foremost, go to our website, uicjamaica.com, and subscribe so that you can get all of our information coming to you. Secondly, tell everybody you know about the UIC, abroad and the yard. Tell everybody. Your word of mouth will overcome the blockade from the media houses. You will help people to know. Then you want to volunteer. Volunteer for anything. Just sign, I want to be a volunteer, to be on a committee to help with this or with that. And thirdly, donate, donate, donate. Give $25 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $50, $100. Anything you can will help. because we need money, get our candidates across the country. And finally, recognize that the UIC is your party. This is the first party which is for the people of Jamaica. No, it's not the first, I'm lying. The first party for the people of Jamaica was Marcus Garvey's People's Political Party, which they destroyed. The two parties gang up on him together with the colonial masters and destroyed. This is our party. This is Slow Flow Party. Whatever your name is, Mary, John, Tom, Dick, Harry, wherever you are, this is your party. Join it, own it, fund it, volunteer in it, and spread it, because we are going to win back our country. We're going to change the constitution, get rid of the Queen, get rid of the Governor General, get rid of the corruption, and make Jamaica a country that brings out the best in all its people.
We appreciate you. Thank you greatly. And we look forward to staying in touch with you and to working with you.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. All the best. Take care, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was an interview. Tell me what you think. Drop in the comment section. Was it 10 if it was, amazing? 1 if it was not so. Let me know what you think of the interview. I love the interview. I think an interview was really, it hit a lot of topics, a lot of points. I'm just gonna go into the comment section here and read what's been going on. Mr. Patterson, have to be more radical to be a leader in Jamaica. That's D. D is saying that. What you mean by more radical, D? Let me know. Let us know. Kick Rocks says, no green, no orange. I'm happily going blue for change. Thank you, Kick Rocks. Lydia says 100. JMH, what's that? 100,000. Carlene Saunders, 3 hearts. Carol Spence, 10. Devereaux, thumbs up. New Era Entertainment, 10. Sean Campbell says, I love the passion. Info Hub says always 10. Eunice Brown Knight, 10, brother. Yvette says it was a great interview. Yes, I really think, Mr. Patterson just has a way with words, and he's done some really good interviews, but this one he was on fire for this one for me, man. Wade Noble, 10. Sonia Mignat, 10. Desmond Murray, 10. Eric Allen, I truly believe that we can change Jamaica, and I also give 10. Okay, so we're getting a lot of 10s. Thank you, guys. I saw 3 questions, or maybe it's more than 3. All right, so one question was from Troy Brown, who said, what are you going to do about the Governor General? That's a good question. So the UIC's plan for the Governor General is to get rid of him. The UIC is all about creating or bringing forward a non-partisan constitutional republic. And that constitution, that system, that governance will remove the Queen as a head of state, or well, now is the King, right? Remove the King as head of state, remove the Governor General as also head of state, and the Jamaican people will now have the opportunity to choose their head of state. We will now have a president, and the Jamaican people will vote for that president. So I saw somebody else asking, I think it was Devereaux, asking about why is Barbados not a true republic, or why is Barbados a fake republic? One of the reasons is that the people of Barbados didn't get to vote for who is their president. All Barbados did is just take the Governor General, or I don't know if they were the Governor General at the time, but they just took the role of Governor General and changed the name Governor General to President, and that's it, right? Here, with what the UIC is proposing is that we're going to have a head of state that is completely representative of the people of Jamaica. The people of Jamaica will decide who our head of state is. This is not going to be someone who No one has any idea, you know, or something that is passed down from generation to generation. You know, someone's grandchild is now going to become the head of state because of family relations or nothing like that. This is where the people of Jamaica will now get to decide who our head of state is. So we're going to have a president. We're going to have 3 vice presidents, 1 for each county. So we're going to have a vice president for Middlesex, a vice president for Cornwall, and a vice president for Surrey. We're also going to have senators, 14 senators, 1 for each parish. So people will now be able to vote for their president, vote for the vice president of their county, vote for the senator of their parish, right? And also vote for the representative of their constituency. So now we're giving the people of Jamaica a real opportunity, a real chance to say, to say who they want as their representative, whether it's be from the constituency side or as someone representing them from the parish side as a senator, right? Making the laws or, you know, passing and vetting laws, or as the vice president as representing the county, or as the president as representing the country, right? This has never been done in Jamaica, right? And so this is why the UIC is such a catalyst for change here in Jamaica, and why a lot of people have looked at, you know, our policies, our plans, or manifesto, or 10-point plan, and are saying, yeah, this is amazing information. This is what Jamaica needs right now. So that's a long-worded answer to your question, Troy Brown. Sandra said, or is asking, Mr. President, we know that the Maroon lands are tied up in the treaty with England. If Jamaica becomes a republic, that will be null and void. What are your plans for giving the people their lands? I can't really speak too much about the Maroons. And well, we know that, here's the thing, the UIC is all about returning the land, the lands to the people of Jamaica. So we'll no longer have crown lands, right? So we're not going to have these lands that are set apart for government or the crown, right? It's amazing, crown lands. It's just the other day, someone was telling me that when Prince William and his wife came the other day, they went to, I don't remember the name of the plantation, right? Anywhere that's called a plantation in Jamaica is still owned by the crown. So it's still their land. So they actually came, when they came to Jamaica, they went there, and there's like a residence on the plantation. Like still, this is 2022, right? They still have their own residence on the plantation here in Jamaica. Crazy. When the guy was telling me, I'm like, really? So, I mean, anyway, so the UIC's plan or policy is to return the land to the Jamaican people. So we're going to make every Jamaican a property owner, right? And many of you may have heard Mr. Patterson speak to this before. So I can't really go into the details because you don't know, Mr. Patterson have a way of, but the general idea is that the UIC will do away with the crown lands. We're going to allow the Jamaican people, all Jamaican, whether you're a Jamaican that lives here in Jamaica, or even a Jamaican that lives abroad and has come back to Jamaica, or even a child of a Jamaican, you will have property. You will own property, right, through your family, right? So if you don't already own property, we're not going to take that away from you. But if you don't own property, you will be able to own property. And we're going to use our lands for agriculture. So we're going to turn Jamaica into the organic food capital of the world, right? Agriculture will be our gold. You know, some countries have oil, some countries have, you know, diamond, etc. We're not into the mining thing anyway. We will have agriculture. Agriculture will be our gold, right? So we're going to turn a lot of our lands, turn them back into agriculture farms, massive farms that people can now invest, the people of Jamaica can now invest in, right? And will be able to go and earn returns from as these farms are exporting and making money from exporting, right? So that's some of the plans. I hope I kind of answered your question, Sandra. Let me go through what else do we have here? KKK is asking, will there be a direct elected president under the... Yes, definitely. So I just said that. So every Jamaican will directly elect the president. Every Jamaican. Well, that can vote. Right? So once you're eligible to vote, you will be able to directly elect the president of Jamaica under the UIC system. Paulette says, I think all Jamaican youths upon leaving high school should do at least 2 years in the army as preparation for entering adulthood. The army teaches self-discipline, etc. UIC should look into this. Okay, we don't believe in force or fraud, so we don't believe in forcing people into joining or into doing anything, right? So, but we will have our army will be a Jamaica Defense Service, right? Not Jamaica Defense Force, Jamaica Defense Service. So they're here to serve the country and the people of Jamaica. But we really are going to be focusing on using our army to protect our borders, because that's really what the army is for, right? So we want them to protect our borders, stop, guns or drugs or anything that's not supposed to be coming in, and stop anything that's not supposed to be going out from going out. So that's basically it. Lady Williams says, I'm excited about our new country. So am I. Trust me, Lady. So am I. All right, guys. So please remember, September 22, I'm going to sing on it. Every live until the 22nd, you're going to be hearing. September 22, we'll be walking from downtown Kingston to Halfway Tree and demanding good governance now. Alan Scott says, Jamaicans will have a Jamaica that they never ever had. Absolutely. Agree 100%. So guys, remember September 22, come out if you can. Get your friends and family to come out if you can. And if you're in the diaspora, tune in if you can, right? So, because we'll be streaming live. So yes, thank you guys for coming on. JMH, JDS, no JDF. Right, exactly. New Era Entertainment, term limits for MP. Paulette Angelo says, Lion will the jungle without fear. It should at least be encouraged. It will help us solve a lot of problems we're seeing in the nation today. New Era Entertainment is asking, will there be term limits for MPs? MPs? No, I mean, if you are representing, well, first of all, to be an MP in our system, you have to live in the constituency that you're representing, right? So you can't be living somewhere in Norbrook and representing, Southeast St. Andrew, or, living in Montego Bay and representing somewhere in St. Elizabeth. That will not work under the UIC system. You have to be living in the area that you're representing. So if that was the case now, our Prime Minister would have to be living in Olympic Gardens or Olympic Way, right? So anyway, but the UIC system is you need to be living in the area that you're representing. So that's the first thing, right? But if you are representing your area, if the people like you representing, like what you're doing is benefiting and helping, why would you want to put a term limit on that? Allow you to do it for as long as the people want. Remember, the UIC is all about having a free and fair society. So if the people decide, oh, we don't want you, we want someone else, then so be it. But we don't want to stop you from, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So we don't really believe in term limits in anything. Presidency, vice presidency, senator, MPs, we don't believe in that. Another point that I forgot to mention is that our ministers, and this is a very, when I heard it, it never hit me. until the other day, we're separating the government from our politicians. So our ministers of government, so the ministers, Minister of Transport or Minister of, Works, whatever, these people are not going to be MPs or senators. These people are going to be subject matter experts that understand the industry that they are the minister of, right? So, and these people will be vetted, right? So they'll be nominated by the executive body or executive team. They'll be vetted, publicly vetted by the senators, right? And then the House of Representatives will vote yay or nay on the ministers. So it's a really, really transparent system that UIC is bringing to Jamaica. We don't need one MP for 30, 40, 50 years. Well, that's the thing. Under a free system, the only reason that will happen is if the people want him there for 30, 40, 50, or her there for 30, 40, 50 years. You know what I mean? If they don't want that person there, if the person is not performing, then, they will change. The MP would change. We want to allow the people the chance to vote who they want to vote for. And so, again, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Paulette Angelo, when Mr. Patterson makes utterances about the central bank, that's when the UIC enters dangerous waters. This has to be stated. Okay. Maurice Williams, okay, I understand that question, but will the UIC of election every 4 years to determine if the people in the parish need those MPs or not? I'm not understanding the question, Maurice. Kick Rock says, vote who you want, and when you don't have to vote, that's it. Oh. Mr. Patterson is saying the Senate and House votes which VP becomes president if the president dies or becomes incapacitated. In the interim, the president's private pick is appointed until the Senate and House decides. So again, a very fair, clear, transparent system. There's no round corner, under table, business. This is we're talking about a transparent system that has all the proper checks and balances for good governance. And this is why we're walking on September 22nd, next week, Thursday, to demand good governance now. We're tired of the foolishness. We're tired of the bad governance that have led to so many things that we can, go on and on and on to name, about what's been happening with the country, all right? We are demanding good governance now. New Era says, I believe there should be term limits. Okay, no problem. Sean Campbell says, thanks, Mr. President. So thank you guys for tuning in and for watching and for dropping your comments and for being engaged and for sharing. Those, I know a lot of you are sharing, for subscribing. Definitely JMH has hit that notification bell. Definitely Lion Rules the Jungle has hit that notification bell. Liddy, I know, definitely has subscribed. But thank you guys for coming on our lives night after night. I'm seeing you guys, especially, some of you, I'm seeing some of you every night you're here, and it really shows how tuned in and how connected you are to what we're doing. And we really appreciate that. And we appreciate all that you guys are doing to help to spread the word. Lydia says, it's all about the people. The power is in the hands of the people. Absolutely. And one of the tricks that, the other political part or the colonial parties have used or are using is, making us think that they have the power, right? But we have the power. We are the ones that have the power. So if we stand up and say enough is enough, we demand good governance now, things have to change. They have to. They have to. There's no way it can't. The only reason things aren't changing is because there are people that are not standing up. They're not they're willing to sit down and allow for whomever to take care of what needs to be taken care of or what they think needs to be taken care of. And then they're putting themselves in problems. So, D asked a question. Every time I ask that question, you members avoid it. What question is that, D? You asked a question, but I asked for clarification. But I think, let me look back to see what question it is. Oh, wow, it's a lot of scrolling. Yeah, please drop it, ask it again. Okay, Mr. Patterson, please, for the sake of the Jamaican peoples, Andrea Stephen calling you out. We need to hear from you on his show. Andre Stevens. Oh, sorry. Andre Stevens calling out Mr. Patterson. Oh, this is Donald Menville. Sorry, I thought it was D. Okay. Here's the thing. People can say anything. It's weird that we're in an age now where I'm not saying that you want to say something negative about someone, purposely saying something negative. But at the end of the day, people are saying, oh, this person is saying this about you. What do you have to say? They're at right to say whatever they want to say. That doesn't mean that what they're saying is right or is true. You know what I mean? So, okay, Andre Stevens is saying something about Mr. Patterson. I don't even know if Mr. Patterson knew about that, but I guess he will answer in his own time. I don't know. If I miss a video, it's a big thing. That's Alan Scott. Lady Williams says, thanks for another interesting, informative, and educational class. You are welcome, Lady. We do it for you. One of the things that I loved about the UIC when I just, started getting involved was it's the education party. Lady said it right. Class is always in session. Whenever these YouTube lives come on, class is in session, really. And that's kind of how I felt. I kind of felt like, oh, I'm just learning. So because there was a lot, especially about civics and politics and how the country is being run. I had no idea, no clue, right? And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. It's like, wow, there's some things you ask yourself, why is this happening? Or why is this doing this? Or this person is doing this? Or why is this situation like this? And Mr. Patterson just has an amazing way of, as I said last night, just kind of, unveiling what's happening behind the scenes, So yeah, I really appreciate what Mr. Patterson has done over the last 10 years with this movement. And it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. I can tell you, it's not easy. It is not easy. And for him and his wife to be doing this for 10 years, most people would have given up. I don't know if there are any, maybe I should say this, or maybe I should. I don't know. I don't know if there are any active UIC people that were there from the beginning. Here, no. I know that there are a couple people on the board that were there from the beginning. But when I say active, I mean like administrative team kind of thing. Like most people have moved on with their lives. And we're not here to scold people and say, oh, well, you should have stayed. Life happens. And so some people say, boy, this is happening, so I need to move on. Or some people just get tired. Some people just get burnt out and frustrated. But the two people that have held the fort over the last 10 years and couldn't give up really is Mr. Patterson and Mr. and Mrs. Patterson. So hats off to them. I really appreciate the work that they've done. And so my way of giving back and showing my gratitude and my thanks is to get involved and do what I can. And that's why when I saw the UIC, I said, it's one thing to stand on the sidelines and be cheering and say, yeah, go UIC. But if there's no one there to help them, it's like you have a nice car, but if you don't go in the car and drive it, it's not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? So you have to get involved. You have to get involved. You have to get involved. And involvement doesn't have to be doing what I'm doing, and being, in communications or being general secretary or being treasurer. You know, involved could be, you know, just volunteering and giving your time. Involved could be donating or sending money for a candidate in an area that you want to, you know, that you want to help. You know, maybe you're from an area where you used to live, you know, and you would like to support the candidate in that area, and you're donating to help that. That's your getting involved. You know, get involved. It's time we get involved and understand that it's not just about standing on the sidelines. Listen, the two political parties have trained us into just sitting back and waiting for election time, and they do all these fancy, nice, you know, dub plate and theatrics and get us to go to the polls, and we vote which way, green or orange, and after that we come back and we fold our arms. Because there are a lot of people that are living constituencies that have voted for MPs, and the MPs are doing nothing. Nothing. Right? And they still go out and vote. Or maybe they vote for the other side. They say, oh, well, you're not doing nothing this time. Vote for this person. You know, the flip side of the coin. And so we need to get to a point where we understand that we need to get involved. We need to get involved and start depending on someone else to come to your area and talk about the UIC. You talk about the UIC. Stop asking for, I see this a lot, time and time again. And listen, I understand. Some of you think that, you know, I don't have the eloquence like Mr. Patterson. I can't talk like him, whatever. That's fine. You don't have to be eloquent. You know what I mean? You don't have to talk proper English. You can talk patois. In fact, we like when you talk because you're engaging with the people, right? But people from your area will know and understand you because they're in your area. It's not like we took you from Mars and plopped you down in the, you know, constituency and say, there, go and talk about UIC. No, right? You know the people in your area. You know what the people in your area are going through. You know what they're going through. You know the problems that they're facing. Speak to that from a UIC perspective. Just get involved. Just get involved. Just get involved. Just get involved. You know what I mean? And so me watching the shows was like every time I come and say, yes, it's class. Yes, I'm learning. Yes, I'm learning. And then I'm learning and I'm saying, all right, well, what do I do with this knowledge? Yes, you can talk to people, but, you know, I want to make a bigger impact. You know, not everybody is going to want to make a bigger impact. I understand. But get involved. So that's my rant for the night. That's my rant for the night. Thanks, guys. Blue Thursday. Somebody said something about Blue Thursday. Okay, D says, if you hit the bullet points when answering questions, you will notice important questions being asked. I'm gonna type something, the comment, YouTube been blocking it. I'm not seeing your question, D. Maybe I was talking when you when you said it. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Very sorry, D. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. As Lion Ruler Jungle says, tell someone to tell someone about the UIC. Thank you, Alan Scott. Thank team. Thank Mr. Harper. Thanks to the team. There are a lot of people that work behind the scenes as well for what you're seeing. And so we want to thank them as well as you for tuning in. So thanks, Paulette. Big up yourself. Big up JMH. Winston, big up yourself. Big up Mr. Patterson. I don't know. And so thank you, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And tune in tomorrow when we have another exciting episode of UIC Liberty TV. All right. So thank you, guys, and have a good night.